That's a tough one because I worry about this happening to somebody else. I worry about him getting somebody else's child and destroying another family. Please don't let that happen. If you think you know something, turn it in. Even if it's nothing, at least it's going to be checked out. Maybe it will stop another mother from going through what I've been through. Another grandmother, another sister, aunts, uncles, everybody. Nobody needs to go through this.
The woods can be both the prettiest and the most dangerous. One thing that is proved by what was supposed to be a normal day turned into a day of loss. On a school day, February 13th, 2017, Liberty Libby German and Abigail Abby Williams, age 14 and 13, experienced a make-up day due to potential snow days. They, however, choose not to stay indoors due to unusually warm weather. The 8th graders convinced their family member to transport them to a trail near the Moon Noon High Bridge, a significant Indiana bridge over Deer Creek, intending to be picked up by 3 p.m. Around 2 p.m., Libby shared a Snapchat photo of Abby walking across the deserted bridge, leading to the case being sometimes labeled as the Snapchat Murders. At the scheduled pickup time, Libby and Abby failed to appear, initially raising no immediate concerns. The relative picking them up initially considered the possibility that the girls had lost track of time. A common teenage occurrence, especially during outdoor activities on a beautiful day. However, as time passed, it became increasingly evident to the girls' family and friends that something was amiss. Law enforcement did not immediately enter panic mode, even as the sun set. A few hours after the girls went missing, Carroll County Sheriff Toby Lebenzi issued a press release indicating no reason to suspect foul play or an immediate threat to the girls. Despite this statement, an extensive search commenced, only to be halted due to darkness and safety concerns.
For the first time, we learned that investigators believe a knife was used in the murders. Court records say articles of clothing from the girls were missing from the scene, including a pair of underwear and a sock. Clothes from both girls were found down the creek. And 4 other girls also saw the man on the bridge that day and described him as kind of creepy, and he seemed to be in a grumpy mood. And a woman says she later saw the man in the bridge video walking down the road wearing a blue jacket and jeans. He was muddy and bloody, she said, and looked like he had been in a fight.
Valentine's Day, a volunteer searcher discovered the bodies of 2 young girls, initially undisclosed in identity, though widely recognized in the town. Then, on February 15th, following autopsies, the state police and Carroll County Sheriff's Department held a news conference, revealing the victims as Liberty German and Abigail Williams. The cause of death for both cases were officially determined to be homicide. Reports quickly surfaced indicating that the murders of the girls weren't ambushes. It appears that the girls became aware of imminent danger they were facing. During the press conference revealing the victims' identities, The Indiana State Police shared a photograph of a man observed walking on the trail simultaneously with Libby and Abby. The image depicts a white male with hands in his pockets, clad in a blue jacket, jeans, and a hat. He may be wearing either a long brown shirt or some type of fanny pack. A composite photo was generated based on this image. Subsequently, the police disclosed that they believe the man had approached the girls on the trail. The girls, sensing they were being followed in the peril, demonstrated enough presence of mind to capture evidence in case of an unfortunate event. Consider this scenario alone in the woods, being trailed by an unknown person, aged 13 or 14. The only hope is to survive to recount the ordeal, yet the realization dawns that one might be on the brink of a tragic end. It is an ultimately terrifying situation. Although the police expressed the desire to interview the man in the photo, they refrained from labeling him as a suspect at the point in time. On February 16th, the police conducted a search warrant at the residence on Bicycle Bridge Road in connection with the deaths. The warrant was prompted by a received tip, but no arrests were carried out. The police clarified that none of the individuals at the residence were being treated as suspects in the crimes. By the 19th, there was a shift in the police stance regarding the man in the photo, now labeling him as the main suspect in the murders. In an official statement, the Indiana State Police conveyed, "During the course of the investigation, primarily evidence has led investigators to believe the person in the disturbed photo is suspected of having anticipated in the murders of Abigail Williams and Liberty German. The police did not disclose any specifics of the primarily evidence or its direct connection to the man in the photo." In mid-March, authorities executed a second search warrant at the residence of Ron Logan. Logan had been earlier arrested on unrelated charges, violating probation for a 2014 conviction. While suspicions were high among Delphi residents, police maintained that Logan wasn't a murder suspect, releasing him on home detention in January 2018. In the tight-knit community, fear of a potential child killer heightened. Carroll County Prosecutor Robert T. Ivers cautioned against accusing anyone, urging restraint. The town rallied support for such efforts and the victims' families, contributing to a growing reward fund. U.S. Representative Don Rokita Office, along with donations from retired NFL player Pat McAfee and Jim Israel, elevated the reward to $200,000. U.S. Representative Todd Rokita Office, along with donations from retired NFL player Pat McAfee and Jim Irsay, elevated the reward to $200,000. Local initiatives like Light Up Delphi and a pizza fundraiser showcased the community's unity, emphasizing the collective effort in seeking justice for Abby and Libby. In September, Colorado police detained Daniel Nations due to expired Indiana license plates, prompting speculation about his connection to the murders of Abby Williams and Liberty German. Authorities named Nations a person of interest, spectating his involvement in a separate assault on hiking trail. His resemblance to a police composite sketch and his criminal history raised concerns. Nation's wife acknowledged similarities, but couldn't definitely implicate him in the double murder. Nations, a registered sex offender, had a history of indecent exposure incidents. Despite the striking parallels, Indiana investigators, after initially considering him a person of interest, later downplayed his significance. Nations faced a domestic abuse conviction, leading to divorce proceedings initiated by his wife in April 2017. By May, they relocated to Colorado, attempting to reconcile. Approximately a year after the murders, investigators shifted focus away from Nations, leaving Delphi residents disheartened. The uncertainty surrounding the case persisted, emphasizing the community's lingering hope for justice. Charles Andrew Eldridge, apprehended on January 8, 2019, in an undercover sitting operation, initially drew attention in the Delphi murder case due to his striking resemblance to the suspect's sketch. Arrested for child molestation charges in Union City, Indiana, Eldridge admitted to engaging in illicit activities with minors under 13. Public interest surged after his mugshot was broadcast, leading to an investigation into a possible link to the murders of Abby Williams and Liberty German. Eldridge's peculiar online presence, featuring posts about missing children, sex crimes, and disturbing images, added to his mysterious profile. However, by the end of January, authorities shifted focus away, stating no evidence connected him to the girl's demise. Police cautioned against assuming guilt based on resemblance and emphasized the potential harm to the investigation from unsupported actions. Delphi residents of those closely monitoring the case were shocked on April 22, 2019, when the Indiana State Police declared that the investigation was taking a new direction. Law enforcement released a concise video clip of the primary suspect walking along the bridge, along with the updated version of the audio clip from 2017.
We must keep our resolve for Libby and Abby, for this community, and frankly, to ensure that good trumps evil. As poor as this picture is, somebody knows. And if you're watching, we'll find you.
Saying, "Guys, down the hill." The hope was that someone in the community of around 3,000 people would recognize the man's voice or his walking style. Previously, only a still shot from the video had been made public. Despite receiving over 1,000 tips, none resulted in an arrest or a clear suspect. Observers were further surprised when the police unveiled a new composite sketch of the suspect, so significantly differing from the original. Indiana State Police Sergeant Kim Riley clarified that the new sketch depicted another person entirely and was not a reinterpretation of the heavy-set man in the video. The individual portrayed in the initial sketch was not presently a person of interest in this investigation. The updated sketch represented a younger, clean-shaven man and was described as representative of the face of the person capturing the video on Liberty German's cell phone as he was walking on the high bridge. Adding to the confusion, the police disclosed that the second sketch was crafted on February 17, 2017, just a few days after the girls' murders. Originally thought to be in his 40s or 50s, the suspect's age range was now revised to between 18 and 40, leaving law enforcement without providing an explanation for the change in the case direction. The decision to release the second composite sketch after 2 years raised questions about potential time wasted in pursuing the wrong person. a man named Richard Allen had been charged with 2 counts of murder in the case of Abby and Liberty German. After years in Delphi, Indiana, the families of Abby Williams and Liberty German had to come to terms with what authorities had concluded. The Carroll County's Sheriff Office had taken a man named Richard Allen into custody in connection to the deaths of Abby and Libby. What the authorities had found was frightening. The man who was held accountable for the double murder had been hiding in plain sight, just as the lead investigators on this case had said. Libby's grandmother and grandfather were her guardians, and they were interviewed on the Monday after the press conference. Liberty's German's grandfather, Mike Paddy, told the media, "How could possibly do that and then just go on living life as if nothing happened?" Indiana State Police revealed on Monday that Allen was a 50-year-old male who had resided in Delphi and worked as a pharmacy tech at the local pharmacy. It had been confirmed by Becky Paddy, Libby's grandmother, that the man had developed photos for the family and had even gone as far as not charging them for the service. Richard Allen had been taken into Carroll County custody on October 26, 2022. Richard had his first initial hearing and entered a not guilty plea. According to the county prosecutor Nicholas McKilland, the man had been held without bond and was set to return to court in January. The authorities had not released when Allen became a suspect in the case of Libby and Abby. Indiana State Police Superintendent Doug Carter had told the media on Monday that the Libby and Abby's case was still wide open, still including the tip lines. Carter had added that if anyone else had involved in the murder on the aftermath, they will be held accountable. Allen had been said to have lived in Delphi, Indiana, since 2011. Richard's home had been about 2 miles from the murder scene near the Mernon High Bridge and a few blocks from the middle school that Abby and Libby had attended. According to many residents of the Delphi area, Richard Allen had worked at a CVS pharmacy at 505 West Main Street. Richard had been a pharmacy tech and had worked there for 5+ years. Richard Allen had no serious criminal record either, just 2 traffic violations. Allen had also appeared on social media playing pool, celebrating holidays, and appearing to be happy with his wife and children. There was a photo that had been found on Facebook of his daughter posing on the bridge only a year after he had committed these murders. Allen had been transferred from the Carroll County Jail to the Weiss County Jail in Monticello, Indiana. He had been charged with 2 counts of murder, and the case that had remained open with the trials pushed back to October of 2024. We can really say that justice does take time, but the truth eventually sets everyone free and culprits to jail. This ends today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for the realest true crimes.